What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to the newest episode of the Retro Rebuilds here on the channel, where we are back in the year 2002, and we're actually going to go with the team that was the lowest rated team in this 02 roster mod, as well as the lowest winning team from that 2002 season, the Detroit Lions. They went 3-13. They had Marty Morningway, who, if you're an Eagle fan in particular, you shudder at hearing that name. I still get weird flashbacks back during the Andy Reid era when he was like the worst OC in the league. He was terrible. This is a pretty interesting starting point here for the Detroit Lions, because entering this 02 season, they used the 3rd overall pick in the first round to select Joey Harrington, the quarterback. He was a Heisman contender at Oregon, 75 quick. So this is going to be our first opportunity in the Retro Rebuilds to kind of turn around a known bust and see if we can make his career a little bit more successful than what it was. So for Joey Harrington, in his career, went 26-50 as a starter. In his rookie season, 2,300 passing yards, 12 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. And for his career, 14,000 passing yards, 79 touchdowns to 85 picks. Ooh, not very good. That is a bust in every sense of the word. So it's going to be interesting to try and just take one of the worst rosters I've ever seen from a starting standpoint and make the Detroit Lions, hey, how about we win them a Super Bowl? Look at the rest of the roster here. It's pretty weak. You had James Stewart here, who way back in 2002 finished with 1,300 yards in scrimmage and 6 touchdowns. Was definitely their best offensive player, but still at 31, not great for this 5-year rebuild. Schlesinger was like one of the better fullbacks in Madden. I remember that name. At wide receiver, nothing really special. No 1,000-yard guys. Schroeder, who like a couple years earlier, or actually might have been later. One of the two, he had like a couple productive years with the Green Bay Packers. But in reality, there's just a bunch of garbage here at wide receiver. You have Desmond Howard, the former Heisman Trophy winner for Michigan, electrifying playmaker, but he's 32, so he's pretty much done his career. Not much there at tight end. At left tackle, you have Jeff Backus. Jeff Backus was a first-round pick in 2001 and is one of the greatest offensive linemen in Detroit Lion history. He had like 161 straight starts at left tackle, so 82 quick dev. We got big things for him forward in the rebuild. We have Dominic Raiola at center. I think he's 79 quick. Obviously, again, another one. Much like Jeff Backus, these guys were two fixtures and staples for the Detroit Lions for pretty much all of the 2000s, and both of them are regarded as some of the best Lions in history. We have Ray Brown here, 40-year-old, one of the highest overall players on our team's 40, so that's never good. Stocktar McDougal here was the 2000 first-round pick. Kind of went on to be a bust, but maybe we could salvage him here in our rebuild 79 quick dev. On the defensive side, we have James Hall. Didn't really do a whole lot here for the Detroit Lions. Had one big year, though, in 2004, 11.5 sacks. But other than that, I mean, from a Madden standpoint, he could be interesting. 80 quick dev, defensive end. Right defensive end, we have Robert Porcher, who's 33, aging veteran, but he's regarded as one of the best defensive players in the history of Detroit. He had a 3-time Pro Bowler, was the 1992 first-round pick, 95.5 career sacks for the Detroit Lions, so he's a baller. We have Kalimba Edwards, who actually was the 2nd-round pick in that 02 draft after Joey Harrington, so we'll find a way to try to get him involved, as he is 80 with a quick. You want to utilize that before you lose that dev trait. We have Luther Ellis here at D tackle. He was the 1995 first-round pick for the Detroit Lions, 2-time Pro Bowler, 29 career sacks. We have Shawn Rodgers, who went on to be, he was just massive. He was one of the better players. I remember he's probably one of those guys that I do associate with the Detroit Lions, like where he was like their most notable D tackle for me before they had like the Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley time. Shawn Rodgers was a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Detroit Lions, 29 career sacks, 350 tackles. He is an 84 quick dev. I'm expecting him to be a long-term fixture on our defense for this rebuild. Chris Claiborne was 1999 first-round pick for the Detroit Lions. Played 4 years in Detroit, 400 tackles, 6 picks, a couple sacks, 28 TFL. So he was pretty solid, and he's obviously going to be a big-time fixture for us here. The rest of the team, though, not great. Secondary is garbage. You have Jason Hanson, who was a 2nd-round pick as a kicker the year I was born in 1992, and he's regarded as one of the better Detroit Lions in history. But he is 30. I mean, it's a kicker. How much can we rely upon a kicker here in this rebuild? So we have our work cut out for us. Oh boy, can we turn Joey Harrington into a legitimate, top 5 pick, top 5 franchise quarterback? Let's find out. So at the end of year number 1, knowing that in real life this team only got 3 wins, we deviled it more. So 7-9, which is pretty good. I actually had to re-record this because I messed up. One of the roster files that was supposed to be fixing the sim, making the sim more realistic, actually simmed really, really well. It should hopefully be ready for the for the next week's retro rebuild. It has like a lot to do with player traits and stuff like that. Someone's kind of figured it out, how to make the sim more realistic. We actually finished with 3 wins, and we're going to have a high pick. And then, of course, we go back to just normal Madden sim rules, and we go 7-9 with the worst team in the game. But hey, you never got to get upset about success. Looking at how well our team actually did perform, Joey Harrington as a rookie, not bad, I guess. 3,500, we're on the 3,600 passing yards, 25 TDs to 10 interceptions in comparison to the 2,300, 12, and 16 he had in real life. You know, better start to the career for Joey Harrington. Running the ball, James Stewart was all right, 1,200 yards, 11 TDs. We'll take that. No real breakout wide receivers because, again, not a lot of talent at wide receiver. But Hakeem here, 74 catches, 965, and 6. Schroeder was all right. Defensively, Chris Claiborne all over the field, 119 tackles, 6 TFLs, a sack and a half, and an interception. We got 10 sacks from second-round pick Kalimba Edwards. Robert Porcher came in, played pretty well. So did Hall. We got 4 picks from Todd Light, 3 from Corey Harris. Okay. We got some turnovers back there. Yearly awards, MVP went to Chad Pennington. Jim Miller got it in the NFC. I don't think we're going to have anyone there. Defensive player went to Michael Strahan. He had nobody. Offensive rookie went to Patrick Ramsey. Jermaine Crowell got it for us. But what do you call it? Didn't even show up. Mr. Harrington. A little frustrating. Defensive rookie went to D.D. Lewis. Jeff Gooch. I mean, again, I don't know if all these guys are actually rookies, like I said, because it's all glitched out. It's kind of hard to actually base it off it. You know that whole, like, when AP gets, like, offensive rookie and stuff. That's kind of what you have to deal with a little bit when you use these retro rosters. But, you know, not a bad year. Not a bad year. And at least we're not going to have the opportunity to make the same mistake that the Detroit Lions made in the 03 draft by drafting another bust in, what was this, Rodgers? Charles Rodgers? Oof, at least we're going to be able to skip that one. We're not even going to have the opportunity to make that bad pick. So, here in the 03 draft, we have one of the biggest busts in football history staring us right in the face, selected by the Detroit Lions. They got him at pick, I think he was 2. He's still here at 12. Charles Rodgers. I mean, should we draft him? Like, this could set a precedent where we go, because we're trying to turn around Joey Harrington and make him not a bust. Should we draft Charles? I mean, he's a very, like, the picks, the guys that are busts don't get drafted as busts in the retro rebuilds. Like, these guys here are as advertised as people thought they would be in the draft. Like a 6'3" wide receiver with good skills, 4.39 40. I mean, that's very, very interesting, and we desperately need a wide receiver. We got Willis McGahee, Dallas Clark still a first-round pick. We got some interior guys, Lance Briggs. I'm gonna try to get him in the second. You know, get a coup there from the Chicago Bears. Asante Samuel's there, but you know what? Why not? Why not draft the biggest bust maybe in the history of the Detroit Lions, along with maybe the guy that we already have could be great as the other bust at Joey Harrington. Let's grab him. Charles Rodgers, 77 normal. Can we turn him around? Like, he's a freak of nature. Let's see if we can turn him around. Keep his head on straight and develop him into a very legitimate wide receiver. So here's a look at our draft and how well we did. I think we did pretty damn well in the first round. So we got Charles Rodgers. We're going to try and resurrect his career. I think that's going to be at least something, but it's a feeler. It kind of, because I've asked you guys about, you know, picking the same players that the actual teams pick. You guys said kind of go against that, but then what does it come to something like this where it's clearly a bust, a notable bust? Should we try to turn around? I think it's at least worth the try. Second round, kind of a coup. Made sure the Chicago Bears couldn't get him any way, shape, or form. We got Lance Briggs, 78 star dev. Probably will move him into inside middle linebacker because we are running a 3-4 right now. Dave Deal in the, look at that, 76 star. Thank you very much. I think he spent a lot of time with the New York Giants. A couple all right flyers, just filling out the depth on the offensive line. Sixth round, we got Quentin McKell. Spent a lot of time with my Philadelphia Eagles. 75 quick dev free safety. Has a chance to be a starter. David Tyree, the man that made the ridiculous catch in the Super Bowl for the Giants against the Patriots. We got him. He's a 69 quick dev wide receiver. They just finished up with more depth at strong safety in the 7th round. So, hey, let's go, Charles Rodgers. Prove you're not a bust. So here we go to year 2 of the Detroit Lions rebuild, and our team is looking definitely better. 77 base, 79-79. As times has started, I mean, we got to figure out left guard for sure. But we got Deal starting at right guard. We drafted Charles Rodgers, turning it around, try to turn that career around. Harrington's up to a 77. Still definitely lacking playmakers at the skill positions on the offensive side. Defensively, we bring in Lance Briggs at middle linebacker. He is going to be a stud. We have Quentin McKell will start at free safety. Other than that, good luck. This is going to be probably another tough year. Just wasn't a strong free agency class, even though we have a whole lot of salary cap. So, let's take our lumps, take it on the chin, and hopefully going into year 3, we'll have a little bit better luck in free agency and get a couple studs in the draft.
Hey, you get a tough case of athlete's foot. The itching, the cracking, the burning. You want a medicine that acts tough. Boom, tough actin Tinactin.
At the end of year number 2, little bit better, I guess. 8-8, finishing 500 behind the Green Bay Packers here in the NFC North. We saw some development out of Harrington, a little bit of development out of Charles Rodgers, who's up to an 80. Offensive line is coming along, man. If we find that left guard, our offensive line is absolutely going to be a strength of this team. Still need to get more skill position players. But looking at yearly awards and all the upgrades and stuff, I can tell you right now because I already spent the points because I didn't even realize. We'll see what happens, actually. I'll show it to you with Lance Briggs. But Quentin McKell, like our 5th or 6th round pick, got a Pro Bowl, got the star dev increase, and 3 skill points here at free safety. So that's paying. I mean, his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, he was kind of polarizing. He was inconsistent, had some big games, had some moment in time where he looked really, really good, and other times to be up and down. But at least here for the Detroit Lions, seems to find a little bit more stability and consistency to his game. Looking at the regular season stats here, Joey Harrington, not bad. 4,000 passing yards, 25 TDs, 11 picks. If that's all he's going to offer to us, I mean, he's not going to cost us games. Running game was, not great. From a receiving standpoint, not bad from Charles Rodgers. 79 catches, 1,000 yards, 8 TDs, which, I mean, that's good. That's not a bust. That's definitely not a bust. We got 1,000 yards here, too, from Jermaine Crowell. 8 touchdowns as well. Defensively, Chris Claiborne, 126 tackles, 11 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, and a pick. Look at Lance Briggs. Oh, wow. 106 tackles, 7 TFLs, 7 sacks, and an interception. Okay, freaky. Robert Porcher, 7.5 sacks. I think he's probably going to hit free agency, though. Just a little too expensive. Andre Goodman, though, we got a young corner. 104 tackles, 3 picks that might develop into something. So that's always a positive. Yearly awards MVP went to Brian Greasy. We didn't have anybody there. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Year went to Deuce Staley with no one from the Lions. Defensive Player of the Year went to Greg Bikert. Not gonna lie, no idea who that is. But Lance Briggs coming in at number 6. Chris Claiborne at number 9. We got a great young linebacking core. Carson Palmer of the Dallas Cowboys got Offensive Rookie of the Year with Charles Rodgers coming in at number 4. And Defensive Rookie of the Year, there we go. Like a thing of beauty, Lance Briggs. Quentin McKell coming in at 3. You love to see it, man. Love to see that production, as we are definitely trending in the right direction as we get ready for the year 2 into year 3 offseason. So for free agency, we're going to spend a little bit. We got Bubba Franks, who for me anyways is most noted for being the tight end for the Green Bay Packers. And then we're going to get Greg Randall here at right tackle. But with that size, 322, 26, we're going to try to move him in to become our new starting left guard and complete that offensive line. But obviously, landing Bubba Franks would be huge for this roster. 26, he's in his prime. He's a 90 overall. Dev trait kind of sucks, so that's why I'm not going to overpay a whole lot, but definitely would go a long way to bring those skill position players of need that we need for Joey Harrington and this Lions offense. So here we are in 2004, and it was another just not great draft for the Detroit Lions. They had the originally 7th pick. We're picking at 18, so unfortunately we can't follow history as they selected Roy Williams, the wide receiver from Texas. It actually was not terrible for them. And they also had a 2nd first-round pick at pick 30, and they actually drafted Kevin Jones here, the running back from Virginia Tech. But here's where we're going to differ. We're still going to go same position. We have our draft board. There's some steals here. We got Jared Allen. We do need an outside linebacker that fits our scheme, but everyone that's been an OG of the channel, they know my feelings on Jason Babin. So I think someone like Shawn Phillips could fill that 3-4 outside linebacker role. So we are going to select instead the very talented running back out of Oregon State that, honed his chops for the LA Rams. Well, it would have been the St. Louis Rams at that point. Steven Jackson, one of the more underrated running backs, I think, of the last 2000s. So we're going to select him, and he's an 80 quick dev. We have our new starter, franchise running back here in Steven Jackson. So we traded away a lot of our picks just because I didn't really like the depth of this year's draft class. So what we did, though, as you saw in the first round, we got Steven Jackson, 80, quick dev, running back, big power guy, 6'1", 240. So he's built like a power back, also brings 90 speed, 92 accelerate. Third round, we got Shawn Phillips, the outside linebacker, scheme fit, 74 star dev, which is phenomenal, and he will start probably right away at actually left outside linebacker. In the fourth round, I just took a flyer on Stacey Andrews. I remember the Eagles picked him up. He's the brother of Shawn Andrews, and he happened to just be a freak at 77, quick dev. We don't really need a starter right now at right tackle, but, you know, he is. We have him. We might be able to make a trade or move on. We have some depth there. And then the sixth round, we bring in another part of a two-headed running back attack. We bring in Willie Parker. Remember him? Pittsburgh Steelers fans sure do. Fast Willie Parker, 74, quick dev running back with 96 speed. So we're getting a little bit of a smash and dash here with Steven Jackson and Willie Parker, but really just a phenomenal draft. And the fact that I know for the second round pick that we traded, we got a second, third, and fifth next year. So it's just, you know, we're building the Lions into a winning franchise here, year by year, piece by piece. So as we get ready for year number 3, here is how our Detroit Lions are shaping up. We've made the offense just that much better, man. 85 overall offense, 79 defense for an 80 base. We add in Bubba Franks at tight end. He's a 90. We also have Randall here. We signed from a tackle, converted to McGarrett. He's an 80. Rodgers is developing nicely. We have a new starting franchise running back. We hope in Steven Jackson. Harrington is coming along. I mean, 78 quick. We still have a chance to develop him into something. On the defensive side, a couple changes here and there, but Shawn Rodgers up to an 89. Edwards, the second round pick from 02, 86. We bring in Shawn Phillips, who's a 74 star dev, outside linebacker as a rookie. Briggs and Claiborne are one of the better linebacking tandems in the league. This Cash guy is actually developing kind of good as a corner. Kind of good. That's great English, but 82 quick. And Quentin McKell, 5th round pick last year. I think it was 5th or 6th. I think it was 5th. 83 star dev, obviously had a huge rookie season. So, I mean, things are looking up. This is definitely much better in this save than how the Detroit Lions were, you know, going into the 04-05 season. So, hey, let's see if we can make the playoffs and improve upon. I think we were 8-8 last year. Let's get 10 wins with Joey Harrington. And at the end of year number 3, you know, we're doing a little bit better here. 9 wins now. It was just unfortunate the Packers, and I'll let you know right now, if you guys ever hop on this, you know, the flashback mod, Packers are a very, very overpowered team. They're trying the best. The creator, Cursive's trying to make them a little less overpowered, but they're still always pretty overpowered. It's unfortunate that we are in the same division, but 9-7, I mean, we are above 500, which, again, is better than most Detroit Lion fans would even expect it during this time frame. Joey Harrington, almost 3,800 passing yards, 28 touchdowns to 6 picks, so he's playing a little bit better. Steven Jackson, as a rookie, outstanding year. Almost 1,300 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Willie Parker chipping in just a little bit there. From a receiving standpoint, Charles Rodgers, you know, much like Joey Harrington, fighting off that bust tag and performing pretty well. 77 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns. Bubba Franks, you know, seems to be paying dividends from the money that we brought. You know, we had to, you know, pay out in free agency. 68 catches, almost 700 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Defensively, Lance Briggs, very good. 108 tackles, 12 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. We got 17 TFLs, 10.5 sacks from Kalimba Edwards. I guess another bust that we're actually starting to turn around. And Shawn Rodgers from D tackle. That is a massive season. 49 tackles, 10 TFLs, 10.5 sacks. Interceptions could be a little bit better, though. Yearly awards, MVP went to Amon Green. We had nobody in the NFC Office Player of the Year. Went to Amon Green, obviously. We had Joey Harrington finally getting a little bit of respect coming in at number 10. Defensive Player of the Year. We had no one. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Steven Jackson, so we made the right call there. Willie Parker at 3. So that's a running back tandem that's getting ready to take the league over. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Jonathan Vilma. Shawn Phillips coming in at number 10 for us. So really good draft, and definitely everything is trending in the right direction here for the Detroit Lions as we get into the year 3 offseason. So looking at free agency, gonna spend again. First up, we got Will Peterson, a 91 overall corner who would instantly come in and really solidify our secondary. And then we got Ryan Pickett here at D tackle, 87, a good compliment, just an absolute monster, a beef tank. It brings the meat to pair in there in D tackle with Shawn Rodgers. So there you go. So here is our draft recap. You mean wasn't the prettiest of drafts in terms of like big name players, but we did well. In the first round, at pick 19, we selected Vincent Jackson, Wide receiver from Northern Colorado, 76 star dev. So there we go, starting to add another big-time playmaker. Obviously, Vincent Jackson. I don't know where he's most notably played for. Is it the Chargers or would it be the Bucks? Not sure. Either way, great fit considering we only really have one legit wide receiver on the roster. Second round, we got strong safety Kerry Rhodes, 74 quick dev from Louisville. Second round pick, we got Chris Canty from Virginia. Perfect fit for our 3-4 scheme. We got Alex Barron, 75 tackle in the third round from Florida State. Dustin Colquitt, punter from Tennessee, 79 star dev. That's awesome. He'll be a starter. We got Leonard Weaver at fullback in the 5th round. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Lorenzo Alexander, Jim Leonard, and Chad Owens. Chad Owens of CFL fame to round out the draft. So, not a bad draft class at all. We'll take that as we are definitely, I think, on the verge of making the playoffs and contending in year number 4. So as we are here in year number 4, our team is looking a lot better than what it was when we started as the worst base roster in the mod. 87 overall with an 87 offense, 93 defense. The offensive line is absolutely a strength of this team. One of the best offensive lines in the league. We got Charles Rodgers, who's redeemed his career very much so as Joey Harrington. Both these guys are just, well than above average playmakers at each respective position. So we got Steven Jackson's up to an 85. Vincent Jackson, our first round draft pick, looking to make a big time impact. Defensively, 93 overall. We got Peterson, who we brought in via free agency to go in with Cash and Goodman. Oh my God. Kalimba Edwards is a 91 superstar. There we go. Another. Add 3 names to the list of busts that the Detroit Lions have drafted that we've turned around. Shawn Rodgers is a 92. We got Lance Briggs, 90. Claiborne, 93. Quentin McKell up to an 88. This is just a very, very good roster, top to bottom. So I'm looking at competing here in year 4 for that NFC North Championship. Man, I wish I had that trait file ready because, all right, this is one of the most obscure ratings I've ever seen. So we're a 90 overall team, 91 offense, 95 defense, and we went 2-14. We won 2 games. I think actually we started out 2-1. We were 2-1, and then just, well, you can see the morale on our team's not very high. So because this game's stupid, we'll just go ahead and help them out there, raise it back up to 50. We gave them the proper prep talk to get them ready for this offseason. But the stats was not great at all. Joey Harrington, 3,400 passing yards, 17 touchdowns to 18 picks. So that's more so the Joey Harrington that we saw in real life, not what we've seen so far in this sim. 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns from Steven Jackson. That's not bad. Charles Rodgers, not a terrible year. But, geez, Vincent Jackson only... Ugh. Defensively, Chris Claiborne, 112 tackles, 9 TFLs, 5 sacks. That's pretty damn good. Kalimba Edwards, 12 TFLs, 10 sacks. Hall with 8 sacks, 16 TFLs. That's good. Chris Cash, 3 picks. We'll take that, man. Our defense played all right. They did their part. Don McNabb got himself an MVP award. Congrats to him. Offensive player of the year went to Kerry Collins. He had no one. Defensive player of the year went to this guy again. Pisa Tino Isamoa. Sure, right? Sure, that's all you gotta say. Offensive rookie of the year went to Aaron Rodgers, now member of the 49ers. We have nobody there. Oh my God. Kerry Rhodes coming at number 3 though for defensive rookie of the year voting. So I guess we'll take that. But this is a horrific season for the Detroit Lions. Makes no sense whatsoever, considering that this is a very, very talented roster. And also, we kind of burnt a year because everyone knows by now that, basically the more games you win, the more your offensive line is going to develop. That's just the way it is. So we lost pretty much a year of regression, or year progression actually, and maybe actually added a year of regression on our offensive line. So that's definitely frustrating. So, but I mean, it's year 4. Year 4 rebuilds are always just horrifically bad, horrifically weird. You can't ever project what's going to happen in a 4th year rebuild. So yeah, let's just go to the 5th year Super Bowl or bust time. So going into the last year, not a lot of overly attractive free agents. This one here would be a huge get for our 3-4 defense, and that would be adding the legendary Pittsburgh Steeler James Harrison to the team, which, as judging by our bid, hey, hopefully picks us over the disgusting Dallas Cowboys. So here we are in the draft, picking at pick 2 with Laron Landry going off the board. Pretty easy. I already know what pick we're going to go. Oh, okay, we're going to clearly go Jamarcus Russell, right? Or Joe Thomas. or Adrian Peterson's here, or Patrick Willis. Nah, don't even need to think about it. Calvin Johnson is going to be the pick. He's a monster. Thank you.
Do you know how to use one of these?
GoldenEye. Load a rumble pack and see how it feels when 007 meets N64.
So after loading Calvin Johnson and not getting Mr. Harrison in free agency, here's how our draft class shaped up. We got Paul Posluszny in the second round, 77 quick. Clearly not a scheme fit, but wins Madden, never about scheme fits. We'll just have him play outside linebacker. We got Eric Weddle with our second round pick to start at strong safety, 76 star dev out of Utah. We got Josh Wilson, 77 quick out of Maryland. Sure, his combine looked good. That's the reason why we got Tank Tyler, Colby Smith. I'm not gonna lie, not super familiar with a lot of the guys we ended up drafting. We're just drafting pretty much to fill out our depth chart. But we got Megatron for at least 1 year for the 5th and final year of the rebuild. And adding in Posluszny and Eric Weddle definitely helps out as well. Year number 5, and we're at 90 overall. 91 offense, 95 defense. Offensive line, we got 2 90s in Backus and Raiola. Bubba Franks, 92 at tight end. We brought in Calvin Johnson to pair with Charles Rodgers and Vincent Jackson. And David Tyree, actually, I guess low-key, has been developing as a nice depth option for our team. Steven Jackson and Willie Parker at running back with Joey Harrington. Pretty much is what he is, but I think at least at this point, outside of last year, we've eliminated the bust tag that surrounds his name and has clouded his name and his family and embarrassed them for the last decade of his life. On defense, 95, looking really good. We got Shawn Rodgers, who's a 93. Obviously, one of the bigger success stories is Kalimba Edwards, 94 superstar. Okay. Peterson's a 92 here. Cash probably will get to a 90 at some point this season. Eric Weddle will start as a rookie at strong safety along with Quentin McKell, who's a 91, as will Paul Posluszny, slightly out of position here as a right outside linebacker. But look at the interior. Phillips is developing nice, but Lance Briggs, 93. Chris Claiborne, 94. This team is real scary. And if we don't make the playoffs, I don't know what to tell you. If we don't make the playoffs, I then can guarantee you what we learned from the realistic rebuilds. And pretty much any time we've ever used the Detroit Lions in any rebuild video, they are an absolute cursed, verified franchise. This is just unbelievable. We are here in the final year of a rebuild. We are 8-7 entering this final Week 17 game against the 5-10 Bears. We have a 95 overall team, 97 offense, 99 defense. And we're not going to win the NFC North. And I was kind of here looking at, can we make the playoffs? And so 6 teams make the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a chance we're at 8 wins. That 9 wins can get you into the playoffs. So basically, we don't even have it in our control. But we'll play this last because I need to get a game. We have to get a game in here. We'll play this game here against the Chicago Bears. But even if we win it, there's no foregone conclusion that we will make a playoff run. So, yep. This team here, back-to-back years, apparently not a playoff contender. Oh, let's go. Take your shot. It's Steven Jackson, and he drops it. Just the actual gameplay equivalent of what this Detroit Lions rebuild has been. Okay, well, yeah, Megatron's a freak. Even though he's not wearing the right number because history has a strange way of changing itself, Megatron's still scarier than ever. 53 yards, can't bring him down. Most talent. He's the most freaky wide receiver I've ever seen. I will put Megatron in his prime, maybe 1A to Randy Moss's 1B. All right, after a turnover here from the Chicago Bears, the Lions are first and goal on the 7. Joey Harrington drops back, gets ample protection. He is waiting. He's waiting far too long. Gets sacked by Albright. That is not great for a man with a mustache to be doing a dance like that in public. Second and goal on the 19. We want to keep trying to dial it up to 80 because maybe it's to get Rodgers going, but also Megatron. Who you got to stop? Who you got to stop? None of these dudes. But that was a worm burner by Harrington. That should have been a touchdown. It felt like, yeah, I don't even know what his throw power is. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've once looked at what Joey Harrington's stats were, but that was a touchdown all day long if there was a little bit more, arm strength on it. Third and goal on 19 still. Dropping back. It's good protection. Just throw it out to Calvin Johnson. That's all you need to do. And Calvin Johnson somehow catches it. Comes out of the end zone. Should have been forward progress for a touchdown. I don't know what's going on here for the penalties. Oh, illegal touching? Illegal throw? What is that? Illegal touching? Come on. All right, here we go. We got a 3rd and goal from the 18. I'm not going to lie. The more and more I play with them, more and more, Joey Harrington kind of sucks. 3rd and goal from the 18. We get a decent pocket again. We get a little bit of scramble. Throws it to Mr. Rodgers, who makes the catch in Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood. Charles Rodgers gets the big-time touchdown there. Going wild right now. That's probably what he does in real life under an overpass. And people say he's mentally ill. Don't laugh at him, children. Oh, David Tyree hurdles a man. He hurdles a grown man. Mr. David Tyree is that just toss and grab. Goes up to the 3. It's time. Let's get Steven Jackson fed. Steven Jackson over here. He's a big boy. He's 240. Oh, was it even Tyree, though? Hakeem. Either way, I appreciate the hurdles. Be it Hakeem, be it Tyree. Your time's coming in a couple years. There we go. Hit Mr. Jackson. Gets the tutty. This one's looking pretty one-sided. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thing of beauty, Mr. Jackson. Thing of beauty. Let's pad your stats. Let's pad someone's stats here. Let's see if we can get Megatron at the back of the end zone. We floated in, and there we go. Just pad. Because I saw he only had 3 touchdowns in this game on the season, which is ridiculous. But there we go. We get the final win. Did we get help around the league to crack the playoffs? All I know is, how didn't this team win more games? We pop in here on All-Pro, and we dominate a very decent Chicago Bears team. Joey Harrington, 422 yards on the day, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. We averaged almost 10 yards a carry for Steven Jackson, even though we didn't run with him a whole lot. Calvin Johnson, 7 catches, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Charles Rodgers, 5 for 146. Vincent Jackson got 1. Defensively, we didn't get any sacks, but we got a pick from Goodman and Will Peterson. So fingers crossed we got some help from around the league, and we can make a playoff run with this goddamn air raid offense. Nope, nothing. Just like that. A 95 overall team with a 97 offense and a 99 defense, almost pretty much roughly around this rating for 2 years. Didn't make the playoffs. We went 9-7. I'm going to guess we were first team out when it comes to the playoffs here in the NFC. We weren't even. We're second team. Took 10 wins minimum. Every team that was at 9 won last week, which is disgusting. But a team that has a 90 overall running back in Steven Jackson, average overall of like 87 for, or we'll say 86 for your wide receivers. We have a couple 90s, average overall of probably 87, 88 on the offensive line. Decent quarterback. You can win with an 84 overall quarterback. Then you look at the defense, 94, 96, 93, 92, 95, 95, 93, and they just can't find a way to win. Like, look at this. What's our, let's go here real quick to the north. So we have the 3rd worst offense. And we actually had a pretty good defense, all things considered. Where do we rank in the league here? Offensively, we have a bottom 10 offense, and defensively, we had a top 5 defense, and you still don't make the play. So, I mean, needless to say, I kind of had this inkling about just the curse continuing no matter what we do. But I think it is fair to say, because this team is definitely better than whatever team we ended up building in the Detroit Lions realistic rebuild. Lions are cursed. Lions are absolutely cursed. So, at least we got to get in a game. We got to play. We got a little bit of nostalgia there from Calvin Johnson. Did we make Joey Harrington not a bust? I mean, that could still be up for debate, but we definitely made Charles Rodgers not a bust. We definitely made Kalimba. I'm probably butchering the name. Kalimba. We'll call it Kalimba. That's what it looks like Simba from The Lion King. Kalimba Edwards, who was a 2nd-round bust. We made him into one of the best edge rushers in the league. So, there's good, there's some bad. But, I mean, I guess maybe our shortcomings were Joey Harrington. Those numbers never really were QB, elite top 10 quarterback numbers. Even though I think it was 1 year he came number 10 in the MVP race. So, but there you go, guys. We tried our best. We literally could not have made this team any better to give them an opportunity to try to win a Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions. And the Sim said, nah, not today. So here's over for the next retro rebuild. I do get all those trait fixed and the sim fix that I was going to try to run today, but the rosters were still kind of glitchy. But let me know what team you want to see in the comment section in next week's retro rebuild, and I'll try my best to get to it. We might have 2 retro rebuilds, because this is my favorite series right now that I'm doing on the channel. So I can find more reason to do more of these. Like, until I can get my NCAA working again, I might just double up on retro rebuilds, because I want to try to get through, obviously, as many teams as we possibly can. So, but I you know, full thanks to you guys for all the support on this series, as it is something different. You know, it's unique. No one else is presenting this type of roster, this type of gameplay. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. And I hope to continue to do it for you. So thank you guys for watching. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well, you talking the talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like, who are you stopping? Know what I mean?